Hey there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's quick tip, I'd like to cover the various charging options for the DJI OM4 stabilized gimbal. Now, the OM4 has quickly become a wildly popular product for DJI, and we've gotten a ton of questions from viewers asking us the best way to charge it and what all the ports do. So I thought I'd put a quick clip together to explain how you can safely charge the unit and how you can actually use the unit to charge other products when you're out in the field. Now, to start off with, the OM4 is different than a lot of the earlier versions of DJI's Osmo mobiles because it doesn't have a removable battery. Some of the earlier versions had a battery you could slide out and charge it externally, and that gave you the advantage of maybe carrying a second or third battery with you. So if you had a long day of filming, you could pop out a battery, pop a new one in, and just start filming again. You could extend the day. On this one, the internal battery is really the only power source you've got. So you've got to charge that battery fully before you leave, and then whatever's in that battery during the day is all the power you've got. But there are two ports on there, which can be a little bit confusing. So to charge the unit, you're going to use the USB-C port over here. It's a standard USB-C port, any USB-C cable you've got. It looks like that. The other end can be either a full-size USB-A or a USB-C, but you're going to use this with any standard charger you've got. So a wall charger, car charger, your computer, whatever you happen to have that this will plug into, you can plug the USB-C into the side and you can charge the unit. Now, I get a lot of questions about, I read somewhere, Rick, that you can actually use the internal battery on this to charge other products. And that's true. So essentially what you've got is a rechargeable battery in the handle that's really a power bank that you're carrying around with you. Now, it is supplying power to the gimbal, and you need that power to run the gimbal, but DJI cleverly added a little port cover right over here that opens up for a full-size USB-A. You can use that to actually charge the phone or charge another device when you're out in the field. Now, naturally, you'd want to charge your phone that you're using with the gimbal, and that allows you to use the energy that's stored in that internal battery to not only run the gimbal, but run your phone. The concern there, though, is there's only so many electrons in that battery. So if you're going to be filming for a long day, make sure you charge your phone and charge your gimbal assembly at the same time, and that way you've got plenty of power in both. But if you need to actually steal a little bit of power from that internal battery at the top, you can add a cable to that. Now, here's where it gets tricky. You can't really use a standard cable like this. Even though it'll work, you can plug in a USB-A here, but then the challenge you've got is if it's a standard cable, it's going to stick out straight from the camera. And that's going to be a problem because the weight of this cable is going to drag on that gimbal. It's going to cause issues with the gimbal when it's moving around. So we've developed a shorter cable that's actually a right angle cable at the end where the camera plugs into the phone. So this end's got a standard USB-A on it, plugs in there. And then what you do is put the camera in landscape mode and plug the other end into your actual phone. Now, you can see how that little angle on top like that keeps it out of the way for strain relief. So no matter where I move, the cable's not going to get in the picture, it's not going to impede the movement of the arm, and it's not adding any strain whatsoever to the unit. And that's both in landscape mode like this and portrait mode. So let me put it in portrait mode. You can see it dips down, and watch how it follows the arm. See how that cable follows the arm all the way around? So the strain relief on that is really in the bow out here. It gives it enough flexibility to move where it needs to, where it's not interfering with the movement of the gimbal. And that's a great way to actually film if you've got a long afternoon of filming, because if your battery's running out on your phone, you've still got some energy in the handle and you can run with that. But the challenge again is if you're running both of these for hours on end, this is drinking a lot of electrons out of the actual battery that's inside the handle. So I've had a lot of people ask me, well, can I use the USB-C connection instead? Can I use a cable from here to the phone? You can't do that. That's only an in port. That's only for charging the battery. This is an out port where you can actually charge your phone or some other device from it. Consequently, you can't charge it through that port either. But here's one thing you can do. You can actually charge the gimbal while you're using the gimbal. So you can keep the USB-C in the side, and if you have a battery bank, like a portable battery bank, you can actually plug it into the battery bank. And here's the beauty. It not only charges the battery inside the handle, it daisy chains that power to whatever you've got connected to it. So if you're spending a long day at an amusement park, you're out in the woods walking around, you need to record for a couple of hours. If you have a small battery bank like this is a 10,000 milliampere hour Drone Valley battery bank. But if you have a battery bank like this, you can plug it in, slide this in your pocket. You've got a short cable between you and the gimbal that, okay, it's a little bit, cumbersome to have that cable there, but it gives you hours of extra recording time. So that's one little hack you can use with it by connecting a battery bank up to the unit, having those electrons flow through the battery, charging it while it's charging your phone. And again, you can get a lot of hours out of charging there. As far as charging the unit goes, again, you can use almost any charger you've got. I've got a car charger here. You'll put the USB-A into it, and in your car, you've got a port like this. I'm just simulating your car. Plug that in, it'll start charging the unit. The best part about this is it'll actually charge the OM4 and your phone if they're both turned on, so you can charge both units at the same time. And you can use, again, any standard wall charger with it as well that's got a USB-A connection on it. Now, one other question I get is what charger should I use? Is there a specific current of charger I need to use with this product? I'm going to tell you that more current's always better. Now, there are two styles of chargers on the market today. There's the standard, what I'll call phone chargers, which are 5 volts, standard 5 volts DC, that can charge at typically 2 amps, 2.5 amps, or sometimes 3 amps. You want to find one that can charge at the highest current possible, because this will drink the electrons safely to charge it up very quickly. There are also QC or PD chargers out there, which are the quick charge versions of it. You don't really need one of those for this unit, even though it'll boost the voltage a little bit and charge it a little bit faster. They tend to be a lot more expensive. Now, the good news is, if you go with some of the Drone Valley products, both of these are PD QC compatible. Both have high current outputs that allow you to charge it at a safe level, but charge it as quickly as possible. So the choice is up to you on which one you use, but when you buy a charger, stick with a brand name. Try to stay away from those off-brand chargers that you see for $2.99 at the convenience store or on eBay or something, because you're putting a lot of electrons into a fairly expensive device here, and a lot of those chargers are really not that high a quality. And what I mean by that is, I don't doubt that they're going to put 5 volts out at that cable connection, but if they're not clean power, if they're not converting the AC from the wall into clean DC, you're going to get ripples in there, which is going to force some AC, some noise into the battery, and you can actually cause damage over time. So good charger, good cable. If you need this umbilical, we've got those for all the phones that are out there. So we've got these that have a iOS connection on them, a micro USB or a USB-C, and they're not that expensive, but that little addition right there will extend your recording day by hours. And again, the hack I just showed you about charging it while you're actually using it can make it a full day of recording out there. The last thing I'll say is that because there are motors all around this phone, if you're out on a really hot day, I was out on a really hot day in Florida last summer, and everything gets hot. So if you're out and it's 90 degrees or something, take a break between recording, because the motors are going to get a little warm. Some of that heat will get transferred to the phone, and you start to get temperature warnings on the phone. So just something to keep in mind, but all the gimbals do that because the phones mount it right up against the motor. I think DJI has done a better job in the OM4 than previous versions by using beefed up motors that are a little bit cooler when they're running, because they're not as burdened, I guess, by the weight. The ones that were out before tend to be a little bit tricky with bigger phones like this, but the OM4 can handle the biggest phones on the market without any issues. So that's pretty much it for today. If you need any of the accessories I've talked about, of course, we've got them available on the website. We've designed these products to work with the OM4 specifically, so you can trust that we've tested them, and we stand behind everything we sell. So if you have any problems with it down the road, we'll be here for you. But I've got links below that'll take you to the OM4 if you're interested in the gimbal, as well as links to all the accessories that I've talked about throughout this clip. Now, if I've missed anything and you have questions on the OM4 that I haven't answered yet, I have a lot more of these quick tips coming along to talk about the various shooting modes and how to use this product out in the field. But drop it down below in the questions and let me know what you'd like me to cover, and we'll make sure we cover it in the next clip coming up. And that's it for today. So thanks an awful lot for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and join the Drone Valley family. We've got a ton more clips coming on stabilized gimbals and a ton of other high-tech electronics. You'll definitely want to come back and see those clips. But anyway, thanks again, and until next time, happy flying.